So I have always been rather pragmatic. So I thought since I quit my job, I should probably look into my finance. But I've also always been a little bit confused about money and time. Not in the sense that I spend too much, but in the sense that I feel like I can't afford to spend on anything, and the definition of money or the amount of money that I actually have is really warped in my mind. Um, I think the biggest reason is because I'm an immigrant, so I come from a third world country. Our currency is a lot lower than the Australian currency, so I haven't really wrapped my head around what is a lot of money, what is expensive, and what is not. Even now, when I go back home to Vietnam and I try to spend like a normal person, I'm not really too sure anymore what is appropriate. And I think the second thing is that I've always been a bit of a survivor, and I've tried to work really hard and save to try and build a life. And the saving habit has been so ingrained into my mind that I'm not too sure what is good and what is not anymore. So I already have a pretty good idea of how much I spend normally and how much I can afford to spend. Um, but I'll just write things out just to have a clearer idea. So I normally do. I think it is 700, and so it's 1200. No, it's 1440 divided by 2, so that is rent a fortnight. And I go to a lot of places, and I don't drive, even though I just got my driver license. So I just use Opal, and I think that is 64, unless they have raised the price again. But that is per week. Food, I like to say maybe 100 a week is usually pretty appropriate. Like we just had chicken satay with rice, and that last us 4 meals. No, so that was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that was 3 days. So that was 6 meals between two people. So that was 12 meals. And the chicken was $10. The satay sauce was $5. The broccoli was like, I like to say $3 per head because it's $7 per kilo. So I say it was $3 broccoli. The onion was, I think, $3 for a whole bag. I'm just going to call that $1 for like 2 onions. And the carrots were $1.50 for a bag of like 200 carrots. So maybe like I just say $1 for carrots. And that is we're not going to calculate rice, but I mean Yeah, we can, but that would just be another dollar. So that was what happened there. Not sure why that didn't calculate. Well, I could just do it myself. So 15, 18. So let's just say roughly $20 for 12 meals. So that is that right? So 3 days is 6 meals. Yeah, so that's 12 meals for 2 people. So that is, let's call that $2 a meal. But obviously, like, that's really cheap. And sometimes we have steak, which is like, I want to say like $20 for a pack of 2, because we get the porterhouse, and I think it's like $60 a kilo. So it would be $30 for 500 grams and 200 each. So $30 divided by 500 times 400, it's $24. So sometimes it would be like $12 a meal. Let's just call it 15, because there will be potatoes and veggies as well. So sometimes it would be like $15 a meal. So the average of that is roughly 17. Let's just call it $10 a meal. So $10 a meal. So 7 days. I don't eat breakfast. I really should, but I don't. 7 days. That's 14 meals. $10 a meal. That's $140 per week. So I'm just going to say that is 150. Also, maybe I go out like twice a week. Nah, that's not right. Maybe like, let's just call it like one lunch, one dinner with friends, and one like a matcha by myself. So lunch would be like $20, dinner would be like $30, and like a matcha would be like $10. So that'd be like, eat out would be like $60 a week. School bills. So last electricity bill that we had was, I think, $200 for like electricity, and that was quarterly. So $200 per quarter. That is so 1 month is 4 weeks, and a quarter is 3 months, which is 12 weeks. So what? So that's like $16 a week. Is that right? Yeah, $16 a week. And then you have electricity, you have gas. So bills would be, let's just say $40 a week. I have to pay for internet, which is $100 a month. So $50 per person per month. So let's just say $12 per week. I have to pay health insurance, which I think is roughly $100 a month. I say it's less than that, but whatever. So that's $25 per week. I have to also pay for Pilates, which I think is $129 a month, which is what is that? Which is, let's just call it $35 a week. And then I have to also pay for my phone, which is $25 a month. I got a really cheap plan. So that is $6 a week. I call it 10 just in case they raise the price. So okay. Well, I buy books, so let's just say it's one book a week, which it is not. But I just say books. So I buy it from like Kmart or like Target usually. Sometimes when I want to give myself a treat, I get it from Dimix or Burglau, but it will be, on average it would be like $20 a week, because like a book from Burglau would be like 30 and a book from Kmart would be like 10, so $20 a week. What else do I need to pay for? I don't really shop, but I go just in case like medical emergency. I don't know. I should probably leave some money for that. So that would be, I don't know, the last time I cut my hand and had a surgery, that was $2,000 for everything, I think. So, but that was across the span of like 3 months. I don't know. Let's just say $5,000 a year is, well, let's just say 10, because why not? Divided by 52 weeks. Wow, that's too much. Okay, let's just say 5. Yeah, let's just say 5. So that is like $100 a week. I can't really think of anything else I need to pay, so I'm just going to go ahead and 720, that's $360 a week. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and add all that up. So 360, see, so that is, okay, so that's about $900 a week total. I don't know if I missed anything though, but that sounds about right, I think. So that is that per fortnight. Just trying to think of that. That sounds right. Yeah, so that per fortnight. I feel like I'm pretty sure I usually spend like $2,000 per fortnight. So I might have missed something, or I'm underestimating how much I spend, which is really odd because I thought I had a pretty good grasp on what's going on financially. But that is okay. That is like the minimum that I need to spend. So that is how much per year. Okay. So that is about $46,000 a year, which I have. So if I don't get another job for the next year, I will still be okay, and I can still maybe, yeah, I'd be okay. I was well, like, on my way to my goals, and this is really a step sideways. I don't want to say backwards because I needed this, but it is a step sideways, and we'll see how we go. Maybe I get a job like in like 3 months. Maybe I go back to my old job. I don't know, but that is what we are working with. So I'm just trying really hard to understand the way that money works. So, say for the sake of argument, let's say I make $6,000 a month, which is like a weird figure because I get paid fortnightly. So, but let's just say I make $6,000 a month after tax. So, in Vietnam, I would say that it's pretty normal for people to make 20 mil a month. I think like for a more, not for a junior role, but for like a intermediate, like a normal role, maybe 20 mil a month. The tax is probably negligible. I don't know, but we're just going to call it 20 million dong a month. So, okay, so this is what I'm working with. So I should probably just write it out properly. So 20, yeah, I think that's 20,000 million. Okay, so the ratio that I'm working with is 6,000 over 20,000 million. Okay, so that is 0.03%, which is, wow, which is okay. That's okay. So let's say a sandwich for lunch is $20 because that's what we're dealing with here. I could probably get like a Thai lunch special for like $15, but we'll say $20 because I don't know, because we're not trying to kill ourselves here, because we're trying to enjoy life here. So $20. So okay, in Vietnam dong, like I'm trying to work out like what the equivalent if I was living in Vietnam, like having a Vietnamese wage is, and then maybe if it's like under the Vietnamese currency, then I will have a better understanding of it. So let's just say a sandwich is like $20. So that would be like, I'm not sure what that is. I think divided by that. What's the matter? I think I can't put the dollar sign there. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay. So 66,000 Vietnam dong, which is really expensive for a sandwich in Vietnam. So you know, if you know Vietnamese, you know that we have banh mi, which is, I would like to say like 25,000 to 30,000 dong. So that is double the price. But then at the same time, like that's because a sandwich in Vietnam is cheaper compared to other food. But if I'm looking at like a proper meal, like with 60,000 dong, I could get a bowl of pho, which is like $15 here. I like to say, oh, maybe 20 as well. So that would be like roughly the same price. So like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So like a bowl of pho, 60,000 dong for a bowl of pho is okay, and that is equivalent to 20 Australian dollar which is for a bowl of pho in Sydney as well. So it is sort of okay for me to spend that on a bowl of pho or on a sandwich, because sandwich is more important to me. So for example, the rent is like 360 a week, which is how much is that? Wow, that is expensive. Which is like, I think people can rent a place for like 2 million. I could be wrong, but I think people can rent a place for 2 million dong for the whole month. So 1.2 million for a week, which is 4.8 million for a month, is quite expensive. So I do think this is where most of my income goes. What else am I concerned about? Like a concert ticket. I've always thought concert tickets are so expensive. Like you you go to, I think, Tame Impala, their concert ticket for October is like $200. So that would be like, huh, okay, so that would be like $600,000, which which is okay. Like if I'm like going to Vietnam and there's someone that I like to see and it's 600,000 dong, I think it'll be okay to do it. Yeah, so that's okay. What else am I concerned about? Like, Sydney is expensive, but I think the whole world has become expensive, and I think the main thing with Sydney is accommodation and like having a roof over your head. So, like, the food is sort of okay. Like, you can still find lunch specials, or you can just cook yourself. Like, I cooked myself and it was $2 a meal. That was really cheap. So, yeah, okay. I'm just like, sometimes when I think about a $20 sandwich, I think that's really expensive. And I just tend to bring food from home because I don't want to spend that much on a sandwich. But I think it is okay too, once in a while. And now that I've got some time to just breathe and try to work out what I want to do or who I am, maybe I shouldn't be too so strict about money to myself. Like I think like a pottery class is like $100, which is like, yeah, which is like $300,000, which is quite a lot. Like you could probably buy like two pairs of jeans with that. But if that is like once a week, oh, I don't know. The thought of that once a week is still a bit too much. But maybe once a month, then that is okay too. So, yeah.